Today's top story covers the passing of Pope Francis, but in the past days, we also reported on updates on the kidnapped sleigh of Phil Chai businessman Anson Ke and his driver, as well as the latest social weather station senatorial survey. And to discuss those matters, and of course politics, we have on the show former Senator Ping Lacson. Welcome to Morning Matters. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good morning and belated happy birthday as well.
Thank you. Less than 3 weeks to go before Election Day. But before we talk about your candidacy, puntahan po muna natin itong recent happenings, kidnappings, particularly of Anson Ke, businessman, and his driver. What do you know of that? Is that related to Pogo, or is there more to this? Or is it election related?
Yeah, too early to say that, ano? Kasi as of now, ang motive talaga is ransom because there were several transactions made even when he was supposed to have been killed already. Meron pa ring transaction. May mga, kasi series at least 20 transactions dinaan sa e-wallet. Yung karamihan, I believe, ang total, at least 200 million pesos.
Parang
in dollars and in pesos.
Napag-uusapan po, hindi po nabigay yung full amount, kaya parang pinatay pa rin?
That. Parang, anyway, the final conclusion will be known. Tapos na yung inquest proceedings actually, no? Last Saturday. So 2 persons were arrested, 1 surrendered, and then I think 1 or 2 more are being hunted by the police. But they cannot be arrested anymore kasi nga hindi na applicable yung Section 5A ng Rule 113, yung citizen's arrest.
Do you agree with General Marbil saying that this is already case closed?
As far as the police is concerned, yes, case closed. You know, but
so we have the right people in custody?
I think so,
okay.
Because I happened to read the statements because they issued sworn statements. They actually gave their sworn statements to the police, you know, in the presence of their lawyers. This is what I know based on the reports that I read. And yung motive hindi pa masyado established, but the principal motive, primary motive is actually ransom, kidnap or ransom talaga.
Well, this comes after a young student was also kidnapped from a school, international school in Taguig City, sparking worries amongst the Filipino-Chinese community. Kayo po ay dating head ng Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Task Force noong 1990s to 2000s. Naalala po natin yun, medyo rampant po talaga yung pangingidnap noon. Kahit kami po ay pinatatago, actually hindi kami pinauuwi sa bahay nung panahon na yun. Ano? Are you seeing a pattern here? I mean, according to what you're assessing?
Not really. When President Ramos took over as president in 1992, he created yung Presidential Anti-Crime Commission, appointed then Vice President Erap Estrada to head the commission. Ako, I headed one of the task forces, yung Task Force Habagat. And then when President Erap won in 1998, tinuloy niya yon. He created the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Task Force. And wala nang masyado noon, ano? But we were able to solve and filed cases, 83 actually, kidnap or ransom cases, and lahat, fortunately, convicted, no? Ended in conviction, affirmed by the Supreme Court, no? And the suspects nasa Muntinlupa ngayon.
Pero sa
at least yung
po,
sa task force lang. Ano?
Wala pong modus operandi kayong nakikita?
Ang modus operandi, yung mode of payment ng ransom, ano, hindi na ito yung parang dead drop, meaning the drop, alis, pipikapin. Ngayon kasi medyo...
Mabilis na mag-transfer, digital.
Yeah, digital. Online yung transfer at dinadaan sa POGO operation. If not POGO operation, yung junket operation kasi wala ng POGO eh.
So tingin niyo po itong dalawang kaso ay linked talaga to POGOs?
Not really linked to POGO, pero yung manner of, yung mode of payment ng ransom, idinaan talaga through junket operations para makover siguro yung trucks.
What do you mean dinaan po doon? Doon po sa e-wallet po nila?
Sa e-wallet, doon din dinaan. So, the Anti-Money Laundering Council will play a big role here. Ano? And as we speak, I think they're already investigating. They're already trying to find out. Kasi established naman kung kaninong account yung sa junket, kung saan dinaan. Ano? And ang casino ngayon, hindi na kasama na sa covered institutions. Kasi na-amend na yung anti-money
So
laundering
they are
council.
able to look into these e-wallets.
They
Kaya
will.
nilang buksan.
Yes, kaya nilang buksan
Kasi
because
meron pong isa pong concern din, ano, yung mga ni-raid na mga Pogo Hub,
Yeah.
ay meron po mga e-wallet yon na hindi na-withdraw yung mga pera. So, yun po ba ay maaaring tignan din?
tinitignan na ng AMLC yun. Ano? Pero itong sa kay Anson K, this is another matter altogether to be investigated. Related nga sa ransom payment. And I think, yun nga, yung AMLC, yung Money Laundering Council, Anti-Money Laundering Council, will really play a big role to really resolve the whole issue. Because as far as I know, hindi pa nakareconcile yung testimony ng one of the suspects arrested at saka yung documentary evidence, which is yung pinuntahan ng ransom payment. So kailan i-reconcile ng police? Otherwise, baka ma-dismiss on technicality.
Well, you called for return of some of the ransom
Yeah.
money to the family of the victim to restore the public trust in the PNP. Why have you called for that?
Kasi pag hindi na-recover yung ransom money, may arrested kang suspects. So anong isipin ng family? Anong isipin ng Filipino-Chinese community? Nasaan yung ransom money? Kasi arrested yung mga tao, dapat meron kang recovery. But as I said earlier, hindi naman ito yung physical na pera na ibinigay. Ano? Noong panahon namin, wala pa naman itong mga e-wallet. So, except for one case noon, tatandaan ko na ang payment through an underground bank, no? Yung isang nasolve naming kaso. Taiwanese yung victim. Pero ngayon, sophisticated.
Mas mahirap pong habulin.
Mahahabol.
Dahil mahahabol.
Through the Anti-Money Laundering Council. Kasi kung
may
nandyan pa yan.
trace na, may
Yes.
financial footprint.
Pero yung iba doon,
digital
nailaro na
footprint.
rin sa casino.
Oo.
So, noong mga ibang suspects. So, hindi na marirecover yung buo kasi based on what I read, again, sa mga report, parang 4 million pesos at least yung natalo sa casino.
Well, okay, given all of those things, no, you are running for senator
Yeah.
again, and you have consistently been in the top 12. Why are you making a return to the Senate? What legislation would you want to push for?
Yeah, first of all, itutuloy ko lang yung pagiging vanguard doon sa national budget. Kasi yun ang naging passion ko na since I refused to partake yung aking pork barrel. Kasi maraming mga insertions, mga realignments. So, isa yon. Second, as I went around during the campaign, siyempre nakakausap mo different sectors. Eh doon nakakabuo ka ng, ito pala yung mga legislation na na-overlook. For example, yung seafarers. I'll be talking to them next week, early next week. I found out na ang laki pala ng contribution nila sa mga OFW remittances. Out of the 38 or so billion dollars na nare-remit in 2024, ang portion doon ng mga seafarers nasa mga 7 billion dollars. Malaki. Pero hirap na sila ngayon sa pag-aaral kasi prohibitive na yung tuition fees. So, I'll talk to them next week and find out more, look for more details para kung anong maidadaan sa legislation para matulungan yung sektor. Farmers, for example, nawawala na yung breed natin ng farmers kasi parang we look down upon our farmers as parang pangmahirap. So, meron naman tayong UP Los Baños na kung saan pwedeng i-up natin yung level ng farming, yung technology, para hindi tayo nag-i-import ng pagkain. Kaya naman kasi marami tayong talents. Actually, brain drain nagpupunta sa abroad. So if we are able to harness the homegrown talents, yung mga anak ng mga magsasaka, give them free education, scholarship, just like the Free Tertiary Education Act that we passed in 2018, makakatulong yun sa food security in the long term.
Hindi po ba small-scale farming ang medyo problema natin, Kasi
Yun nga eh. Tsaka
to be
mano-mano.
agriculturally productive, kailangan malakihan ang mga
Mechanical
lupa.
na, oo.
Hindi lang po actually, maganda po yung edukasyon, pero kung pumunta naman yung magsasaka sa kanyang lupa, at hindi sapat yung resources,
Hindi,
mahihirapan din.
pwede namang i-large scale.
Oo.
Parang
But
i-organize
how
ng
to-
government.
oo.
Well, malaki pa yung lupa ng government eh. Hindi pa ganun kano. So we can utilize yung irrigable na mga land areas natin. Pwede nating sabihin natin. Anyway, subject to further study, use of rock, or pwedeng ipalis para mag-large scale farming tayo sa agriculture.
Medyo buhol-buhol po ang problema doon. No?
Yeah.
Pero puntahan po natin itong PIGO. Tingin niyo po ba dapat din tignan ito? Because you were mentioning na dyan nga nadadaan yung pera. No? When we say PIGO, these are actual the local casinos, local gambling.
Alam
Yung
mo,
POGO,
Gretz,
we have banned it already. But yung PIGO,
pati labanan ng gagamba, meron na yung pigo. Yeah, matatawa ka.
hindi, ano pong regulation po kaya ang maaari? Para hindi po magamit yun sa krimen.
Wala pa. Ang regulation lang is probably coming from PAGCOR. Kasi yun ang regulatory body. So ngayong naipagbawal na yung illegal na yung POGO, meron naman PIGO. So I think we should also take a look at the other aspect of online gaming, online gambling, which is now PIGO. Although may mga sporadic pa rin na guerrilla type na POGO, pero ito na naman yung PIGO.
Doon nga po sila nagtatago eh. Sabi po ni Senator Cheese when he was here, and also General Torre when he was here, na yun po yung nagiging recourse, no, from POGO nag-shift na to PIGO. So tingin niyo po ba, paano kaya ma-weed out yung ganun?
Well, nandiyan naman yung PAGCOR, so sila yung
Regulating authority.
Sila yung regulator.
Let's go to the latest SWS survey. You, I believe, ranked at number 11. Oo. How are you seeing this with 3 weeks left? Meron po tayong chart actually mula sa PCIJ. Ito, kung titingnan po nyo, yung orange line, no, medyo pababa po yung rankings po natin. Ano? Kasi dati nasa gitna tayo, ngayon nasa may dulo na. No?
You know, some surveys are sometimes confusing. Minsan, over the same period ng yung fieldwork, pero magkaiba, ang laki ng discrepancy. So, it's confusing. Probably it's the methodology or yung respondents na
But that graph from PCIJ actually brought together different surveys together. Oo. Kayo po ba, paano pong adjustments po sa kampanya po ninyo? And do you link this also with the current administration's troubles because of the intense political rivalry?
Probably, yes. Kasi parang yung alyansa, sa slate ng alyansa, medyo sa Mindanao, tinamaan talaga. And some parts of the Visayas. Ramdam din namin yun.
There was also a survey released lately saying that the president satisfaction ratings dip. Tingin niyo po ay makaka-apekto rin yon sa mga kandidato?
Ang surveys kasi, Ms. Gretchen, based primarily on perception, di ba? At any given time. Para snapshot yan eh. This period, maganda yung perception sa'yo, tataas yung survey rating mo. Kung masama ang perception sa'yo over the same period, based on, due to several factors, probably, sabi nga ni Jose Castro, maraming fake news. Nakaka-affect din yon, di ba? But the final survey will be on May 12. So, sa akin naman, awa ng Diyos, hindi pa naman ako lumalabas sa Magic 12. Although, nagmo-move talaga. No? Parang last time, nagpa-fluctuate eh. So, I really don't have an explanation kasi hindi naman ako nagsusubscribe. So, hindi ako nabibrief.
Makikita na rin po ba namin kayo sa Mindanao para sa inyong kampanya?
Ang napuntahan ko lang sa Mindanao, Misamis Occidental. After that, hindi pa ako nakabalik.
Kasi si Senator Amy Marcos naman recently received an endorsement from Senator Robin Padilla, from VP Sara. Kayo rin po ba kahit pa paano subukan yung...
Too late in the day. Pero yung all endorsements naman are welcome. In 2016, when I ran for my third term, maraming political parties or alliances na nag-endorse sa akin. Hindi lang sa akin, sa iba ring candidates. And welcome naman lahat yun. I remember Senator Drilon then and Senator Rojas because si Mar was running for president in 2016. Pinuntahan nila ako, sabi niya, baka pwedeng i-adapt ka namin. Sabi ko, of course. Sino ba naman ang ayaw sa adoption or sa endorsement? Ang isang kondisyon binigay lang, kung pwedeng huwag ka lang sasampa sa ibang entablado, sa amin lang. Sabi ko, pero hindi naman ako obligadong mag-attend sa lahat ng rallies ninyo. Of course. So, ganun ang kasunduan. This time around, as early as June 2023, we were invited through a common friend by President Bongbong. Kami dalawa ni Tito Sen. At yun nga, kung tataburo kami, kung pwedeng doon na kami sa administration slate. Ako at the time, I was very reluctant. Wala akong planong tumakbo. But ang sabi sa akin, hindi, kung magbabagong isip, edi doon ka na sa administrate. So I gave my word. And finally, yun nga, September, my name was called as one of the 12.
Well, given the recent dip, kayo po ba ay nagsisisi na kayo po ay nagpa-adapt sa alyansa para sa bagong Pilipinas?
No, hindi. Not at all, no. Ako kasi, Ms. Gretchen, I've always been fatalistic no? Kung manalo, kung matalo. Probably, yun ang... Kasi para kaming 60, more than 60 job applicants, vying for 12 job vacancies. Yun lang tayo niyan. Ngayon, kung ang HR namin, kayo, the Filipino people, kung sa tingin ng HR, hindi kami karapat-dapat na matanggap as applicants doon sa trabaho, then so be it. Maybe it's time to really retire altogether.
So, kahit ano po mangyari, dito po kayo sa Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas, does that mean also that you align with the principles of this administration?
Not necessarily. When President Bongbong invited me, alam niya naman yung role ko sa Senate. Lagi ako nagpipiskalize, lagi akong nag-expose ng corruption. So, knowing that, alam niya rin kung ano yung pupuntahan ko, kung ano yung makikita niya pag nasa Senate ako.
Senator, as I mentioned, you were former PNP chief and you brought insight into the drug war of the former administration. Sabi niyo po, in an interview, walang consistency kapag kakampi, libre kapag kalaban tutuluyan. Hindi ka magsasucceed kapag double standard ka. You that referring to the former president. Do you think it was a failed drug war?
The fact that meron pa rin mga drugs na na-confiscate, mga shabu, di ba? In tens of billions of pesos yung amount. So, hindi natin masasabing complete success yung drug war. And the number of people killed, kaya sinabi kong double standard kasi we once investigated a case involving some police officers known to be very close to somebody really close to the president. Walang nangyari sa case We investigated it. This was the case on the involving the killing of the father of Kerwin Espinosa sa Albuera, Leyte. Napaklaro ng ebidensya, pinasok sa kulungan, pinatay, and yet, noong sinampit namin yung report para sa yung DOJ to take action, walang nangyari sa kaso.
Tama nga po kayo, iniikot lamang yung mga pulis nung panahon na yun. Pero eto nga po, paano iimbestigahan ang police force given all of these cases?
Yeah, another legislation probably strengthen yung internal affairs service ng police. Sa ngayon kasi parang adjunct lang siya ng PNP. Dapat talaga yung parang sa US na independent yung internal affairs. They can investigate any police officer na nag-commit ng misdemeanor or even serious offenses.
Hindi po ba NAPOLCOM po yun?
Ang NAPOLCOM is policy-making body.
Oo.
Nag-iimbestiga rin sila, pero parang towards policy changes or policy direction. Pero dapat meron talagang tututok. Sayang yung isang provision doon sa PNP law, yung People's Law Enforcement Board. Ito yung community, local policemen na pwedeng imbestigahan ng community itself because the composition of the board, yung People's Law, kasi they can dismiss, they can suspend, they can admonish, they can reprimand, etc. Hindi masyadong active. Ngayong merong Internal Affairs Service, dapat strengthen na lang, enhance yung kanilang authority, yung kanilang power, gawin talagang truly independent.
Do you think there was grave abuse of during the Duterte drug war, during his administration, within the police force? And do you agree that those abuses could be linked to the former president in his declaration na dapat mag-neutralize? Actually, sinabi nga niya na do not bullshit with me, but do your duty. I will die for you. Do your duty. And if in the process you kill 1,000 persons because you were doing your duty, I will protect you.
At the very least, parang na-embolden yung police because of the pronouncements of the former president. Ano. But, you know, it's really up to the individual policeman to follow illegal or legal orders. Ano. Alam ko naman kaya lang i-discern, kaya lang i-distinguish ano ba yung illegal order, ano ba illegal order. After all, sila rin naman yung mananagot. Ano? So at the very least, na-embolden sila because of the pronouncements of the former president.
Kayo po ay agree na ma-elitis si former President Rico Duterte doon sa ICC?
Yung kasing ICC, that is the Global Court for the Hopeless at saka helpless. Yung ito kasi parang mas applicable ito sa mga, kaya ang nanilitis dyan yung mga South African countries, yung mga may mga dictatorship. Kasi nga helpless yung mga taga roon, yung the people who are being ruled. In the case of the former president, ang sa ICC kasi may tinatawag na yung principle of complementarity. If the criminal justice system in the country doesn't work, then the ICC can step in. If the criminal justice system is working, wala silang karapatan. So, I think nag-work naman yung criminal justice system natin, pero naandyan na, the president has been arrested and turned over to the ICC. There's so many issues involved.
But kahit si DOJ Secretary Boying Remulla sinabi na we don't have a working justice system. I mean, when it comes to that, it will be difficult to prosecute because yun nga, ang involved dito, law enforcement. Paano mo imbestigahan kung yung ebidensya ay wala? Kumbaga, parang kung police ang operation ang involved dito, medyo magiging mahirap. Kapag internally, you yourself said we should strengthen the Internal Affairs Service of the
Hindi ako mag-agree na hindi nag-work yung criminal justice system. Probably selective.
Pero bakit wala pong investigasyon sa ngayon na matingkad dito nga po? Iilan-ilan lang.
Well, the case of Kian de los Santos, inimbestigahan namin sa Senate. It ended up in a positive conclusion. Na-convict yung 3 pulis doon. But these are individual cases. Ang tinitingnan siguro ng ICC yung kabuuan ng drug war.
So do you think they would have the best capacity to do that?
Yes, I think so.
But when it comes to the arrest of the former president, what is your take on that? I mean, when it comes to following protocol, kasi nga narinig din natin na kina-question si General Marbil, si General Torre sa Senado. Do you think the former president was denied his rights for judicial process in local courts?
First, ang una ko, nung makita kong inaresto, yung about to be arrested, ang una ko talaga na-feel, yung awa, kasi because of his physical condition. And magkaibigan naman kami ni Presidente, way back, nung mayor pa siya ng Davao. Talagang magkaibigan na rin kami. So, awa. But then, yung police naman, they have this duty to perform. And merong arrest warrant na nanggaling sa ICC, tinansmit to the Interpol. Meron tayong tinatawag na yung transnational crime, at doon naman ipinasa. So, they had to do their job. General Torre had to do his job. And
si General Marbil, did he have a choice? Or susunod lang din po yan as PNP chief?
No, they don't have a choice. Kasi
susunod lang sila sa higher...
Maski ako, bigyan ako ng arrest warrant, tapos legitimate, legal yung order, susundin ko, gagawin ko. I cannot go back to the Commander-in-Chief, sabihin kong hindi ko kayang iserve tong warrant.
But who would be commanding General Marbil?
Well, the Commander-in-Chief. Of course.
The President?
Yeah, the President.
Okay. I wanna go to your friendship with the former president. I mean, did you agree with this drug war?
No.
His approach?
No.
How would you have approached it better?
Well, dapat yung follow the rule of law, tapos follow the rule of evidence, tapos file cases.
Which parts did you not agree with?
Yung naging discriminate, pinalakas yung loob ng mga pulis, and the reward system, para nagkaroon ng quota system. hindi ako papayag, hindi ako sasang-ayon na okay, pagka nakapatay kayong, this is based on the pronouncements, ano? Even by some people, some officials close to the president. And narinig naman sa grapevine, sa PNP, na minsan nagiging over-eager yung police, nagiging indiscriminate. Minsan, para lang makakuha ng, makapasa doon sa ng quota, maski sino na lang.
Opo.
And initially, again, when we investigated the cases of extrajudicial killings, meron pang instance na may nag-testify na mag-asawa na yung anak nila used to be the courier of the police. Yung recycled drugs, ano. And sila yung anak nila ang unang pinatay ng police kasi nga, baka magsalita. Kasi anak nila, yung ginagawang taga-benta ng police nung nire-recycle nilang drugs. Again, hindi ko alam kung ano nangyari doon because we only relied on... No. We investigated it. Merong evidence, merong testimonial evidence. Nung pinasa namin sa executive branch, because the Senate cannot just file cases, we'll refer it to the DOJ. Hindi ko na alam kung ano nangyari. But the evidence, the pieces of evidence that we gathered, masyadong klaro. Except yung kay Kian de los Santos and some other cases na may nangyari.
Do you think there would be enough evidence to convict the former president in the ICC?
I do not know. I haven't seen the evidence presented by the prosecutor. At saka hindi ko rin alam kung ano yung defense ni President.
Naalala ko po, nakausap po sa isang interview ni Senator Chis Escudero, nabanggit niya na si Senator Bato de la Rosa, who might have an arrest warrant out for him, ay inahayaan niyang tumuloy sa Senado, no? Kasi he has the right to exhaust all his legal remedies. At nabanggit niya kayo, kasi nagtago daw po kayo abroad for how many years?
Yeah, 14 months.
Ano po nangyari doon? Na-agree po kayo na magandang ano yan? Kasi si Harry Roque din ay nasa ibang bansa at ayaw humarap sa mga hearing mo dito.
Ako, Ms. Gretchen, I did not get out of the justice system. Ano? Nagkataon lang merong jurisprudence that in-apply ko. Kasi before that Supreme Court ruling, hindi pwedeng umusad yung case nang hindi ka nagpapa-jurisdiction sa court. Meaning, if you have a warrant of arrest, kailangan nandun ka sa custody ng court, legal custody, anyway, physical, nasa PNP naman yan. Pero because of that ruling of the Supreme Court, pwede mag-file ng pleadings even in the absence of the respondent. I used that jurisprudence. So, kaya nga na-dismiss yung case ko even when I did not submit myself under the jurisdiction of the court, na-dismiss pa rin yung case. Absent that, hindi ko pwedeng i-apply yun. Kailangan either mag-surrender ako, mag-undergo ako ng trial, because hindi ako makapag-file ng pleadings.
So, iba po ito sa kaso ni Senator Bato kasi ICC ang...
Iba yun kasi yung sinasabi ni Senator Chis, merong immunity from arrest ang congressman, ang senador, pero very limited yon. Pag ang yung penalty do sa kaso is 6 years or less, pwede yun.
Okay.
At saka when Congress is in session. And si Senator Bato, kung naka-recess yung Congress, he cannot hide forever in the Senate, di ba?
May hangganan din.
May hangganan yun kasi yun,
mukhang magigising na po kayo at matapos na rin po ang ating interview. Bilang panghuli, bakit po dapat kayo iboto ng taong bayan sa Senado?
Ako naman, track record lang naman yung pwede kong sabihan. Ano, I can bring to the Senate buhat ng sarili bangko, integrity, discipline, at saka yung track record. Yung aking experience, yung aking competence, at saka...
It will be a tough battle in the weeks to come as we know that this is a very competitive midterm elections. And with that, we wish you a good luck with the final 3 weeks of the campaign run. Maraming salamat, senatorial candidate, former Senator Ping Lacson, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.